From botch-filled disasters to crowd-killing snooze fest, these are the 10 worst matches of the Triple H era. And stick around because we may just ruin some of your favourites. So each of these matches have occurred on the WWE main roster since July 2022 and have had at least 100 votes on Cage Match. And yes, we know it's not the be all and end all, but it gives you a really good idea of what the general public is thinking about a match. Number 10, Cody Rhodes vs John Cena at WrestleMania 41, 3.44. Kicking things off is the most recent disaster on our list. And while it technically wasn't the worst match ever, it was the main event of WrestleFreakin' and that makes it completely unacceptable. John Cena returned with all the hype in the world, only to wrestle like he just woke up from a nap. The man took his new heel persona so seriously, he made walking in treacle look quicker. And while the crowd was red hot, let's be honest, they were cheering for themselves at that point. Cody tried to carry the match, but Cena's slowed down, methodical style just dragged everything into the mud. Oh, and Travis Scott showed up because sure, why not? His only contribution was eating a crossroads so hard it looked like Cody was trying to erase Utopia from existence. Look, apparently that's an album of his. It's not mine. Anyway, the bottom line is, this wasn't just a bad match, it was one of the most disappointing WrestleMania main events ever. Number 9, Bianca Belair vs Alexa Bliss at Royal Rumble 2023, 3.43. Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss never really had the greatest chemistry in the ring for two very talented wrestlers. Just a few weeks prior, they delivered a match on Raw that was more about the dark side of Alexa Bliss coming out rather than a showcase of their talents. The Royal Rumble match, coming in at just 7.5 minutes, unfortunately was the quintessential bathroom break, as Alexa Bliss was dominating most of the match against her taller, stronger opponent. There were plenty of rest holds, and more rest holds, and yet more rest holds. And then, all of a sudden, Bianca blocked his sister Abigail and hit a KOD, and it was over. Look, this wasn't essentially bad or anything, just not worthy of a premium live event. And it wasn't even the worst part of that show. Yeah. Number 8, the women's 4-way tag match showcase at WrestleMania 39, 3.4. This match had a lot to live up to after the men's tag showcase tore the house down on night 1 of WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. But unfortunately, this one felt like the dress rehearsal that never got cleaned up. From the opening bell, it was chaos in all the wrong ways. Missed spots, clunky sequences, and stop-start momentum made the whole thing feel disjointed. And then you had Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler doing everything they could to not actually participate. They practically ghosted the match. That said, there were a few fun moments. Shotzi and Chelsea Green both hit solid dives to the outside, and Raquel Rodriguez powerbombing her own teammate Liv Morgan into the pile. That's a classic crowd pleaser. But after that, the match just didn't work. Liv hits an oblivion out of nowhere. Shayna, now randomly missing a shoe because she injured her ankle, tags herself in, and suddenly Ronda appears, slaps on the weakest armbar you've ever seen, and somehow that's the finish. One move. That was their entire offense. It was less of a victory and more of a hit and run ending. Number 7, Liv Morgan vs Rhea Ripley at Bad Blood 2024, 3.39. These two had one of the longest and most personal rivalries of 2024, complete with betrayals, chair shots, and a double heel turn from Dirty Dom that had fans losing their minds at SummerSlam. So when the rematch was booked for Bad Blood, expectations were sky high, especially on a card that featured one of the best matches of the Triple H era. And to be fair, it started fine. Tension? Check. Drama? Check. Dominic Mysterio hanging in a shark cage like it's Monday Night Show all over again? Big check. But then things got weird. Dom tries to escape, ends up dangling upside down like a confused bat, and Rhea decides it's time for a little discipline with a kendo stick. Just when you think it can't get wilder, Raquel Rodriguez makes her surprise return. Massive pop, great moment, and then she immediately ruins it by hitting Rhea right in front of the ref. The match ends in a DQ, but wait, Raquel still hits the Tahana bomb on Rhea and rolls Liv over for the pin in a match that was already over. It was like everyone forgot the script halfway through. A red hot feud fizzled into a head scratching mess. Number 6, The Awesome Truth vs Authors of Pain on Raw, 3.35. When the Awesome Truth won the Raw Tag Team titles, it was a feel-good moment on WrestleMania. Two WWE lifers finally getting their flowers, complete with shiny new belts and a standing ovation. But then came their title reign, and let's just say the magic wore off quicker than Miz could turn heel. On the June 10th episode of Raw, they defended against the Authors of Pain in what can generally be described as a match that took place. After 5 long minutes of slow, uninspired brawling, Karrion Kross got himself involved, and he was immediately taken out by the New Day. You know, those really good guys, the New Day. Then, in the most confusing climax of the night, R-Truth whacked Razor in the back of the head with a title belt, which looked like it hurt less than a pillow shot, and Miz somehow rolled up the 330-pound powerhouse for the win. That's right, Razor, the human tank, taken out by the oldest trick in the book. So if you're enjoying the breakdown, please do me a favor and click that subscribe button and like the video, and leave a comment down below and let us know what the worst match you have ever watched of all time is. It doesn't just have to be in the Triple H era. Alright, let's get back into it. Number 5, Ronda Rousey vs Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam 2023 2.9. Yep, more Ronda and Shayna. And spoiler alert, we're not done with one of them yet. After one of the most shocking moments of 2023, Shayna Baszler surprised everyone by choking out her own tag partner, Ronda Rousey, at Money in the Bank. While fans weren't exactly hyped for a Shayna versus Ronda feud, the video packages leading into this match were genuinely fantastic. This wasn't just any old match either. No, this was an MMA rules match, because apparently someone thought, you know what the second biggest WWE show of the year needs? A fight that makes everything else feel like it's fake. Now, to be fair, Ronda and Shayna clearly wanted to do this. It had real fight vibes. It was personal, and Ronda even agreed to put her bestie over on the way out. But the execution? Wow, it sucked. The pacing was weird. There were long pauses during the match, and the crowd sat on their hands before deciding to just chant, "This is boring," to break the tension. Instead of feeling like a battle between two fighters turned superstars, it just ended up in a mix of work and shoot, until finally Shayna Baszler choked out her opponent. And yep, this was Ronda's farewell match. Not exactly going out in a blaze of glory. Number 4, DIY vs Pretty Deadly on SmackDown 2.66. Coming in at number 4 is a match we've actually roasted before. Yes, it's that DIY vs Pretty Deadly WWE Tag Title match from the February 21st episode of SmackDown. You might remember this show because it's widely considered one of the worst episodes of SmackDown since the dark days of the pandemic era. And somehow, this match managed to be the low light of that low light. It had potential. Pretty Deadly had just gone from fabulous flunkies to fringe faces after realizing they were being gaslit by DIY. Yes, actual emotional manipulation in a tag feud. Novel stuff. They jumped the chance before the bell, which was promising and hilarious since their disco music was still blaring while they laid out Ciampa and Gargano. But after that, it just flatlined. No real heat, no real momentum, just every generic tag team match you've ever seen crammed into a lifeless few minutes with no real good guys. And then came the cherry on this disappointing Sunday. The Street Profits ran in, beat up everybody, and the match was thrown out with a no contest. Because when fans tune in for a title match, what they really want to see is no winners. Number 3, Jey Uso vs Jimmy Uso at WrestleMania 40 Night 1. 2.63. At number 3, we've got a match that had all the potential in the world and somehow missed just about every beat. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso, twin brothers, former tag champions, years of bloodline drama boiling over. On paper, this had WrestleMania Classic written all over it. But what did we get? Not even close. There was a real sense of nervous excitement going into this match. Fans wanted to see these two tear the house down. After all, twin magic should equal perfect in-ring chemistry, right? But instead, the match opened slow and just kind of stayed there. Every offensive exchange felt like it was in first gear. And if you like super kicks, well, you're in luck, because that was pretty much the entire moveset on display. Super kick, stare down, another super kick, rinse and repeat. Then came the emotional moment. Jimmy begging for forgiveness, dropping to his knees, pleading with Jey, who bafflingly seemed to forgive him. The crowd didn't buy it, and the story was off the rails entirely. Thankfully, it wrapped up quickly after that in what was easily one of the most underwhelming finishes on a weekend otherwise packed with bangers. And the real kicker? The very next night, Jey absolutely levels Jimmy with a spear off the stage through tables in one of the most jaw-dropping moments of the weekend. So why didn't that energy show up on the 24 hours before? Number 2, Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi at Survivor Series 2022 2.48. Yep, she's back. Ronda Rousey returns once again to this list, this time for her forgettable classic against Shotzi at Survivor Series 2022. After regaining the SmackDown Women's title from Liv Morgan at Extreme Rules, Ronda found herself in a division with all the momentum of a parked car. So WWE rolled the dice and gave us Shotzi. Sure. Green hair, miniature tank, and enough guts to face 2 cage fighters at once. Because don't forget, Shayna Baszler was still Ronda's sidekick at this point. So what did we get? Basically a 2-on-1 match where Shotzi somehow dominated most of the action, while the crowd tried to remember if they were supposed to care. There was one pretty wild spot where Shotzi kind of leapt off the barricade onto Ronda, Shayna, and a group of clearly planted extras who looked like they just walked off an indie show, and then not much else. The chemistry, non-existent. The pacing, clunky. The crowd, checked out. And Ronda looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. This match wasn't just forgettable, it was a masterclass in how not to structure a title bout. Shotzi is someone who gave her role in the WWE, but never really got the backing in return. And number 1, Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight at Royal Rumble 2023 2.12. Wyndham Rotunda, known world over as Bray Wyatt, was a once-in-a-generation creative mind, and his passing in 2023 hit the wrestling world hard. His legacy, undeniable. His imagination, boundless. But unfortunately, his final broadcasted match was, well, a glowing neon mess brought to you by Mountain Dew. Yes, the pitch black match at Royal Rumble 2023. What did that mean? Nobody knew then. Nobody really knows now. The lights went out, the ring was surrounded by UV lights, and everything, ropes, gear, weapons, looked like it had been stolen from a blacklight mini golf course. There wasn't much to the actual match. LA Knight bounced around gamely, Bray threw some glowing stuff, and then he slapped on the mandible claw for the win in just over 5 minutes. But the weirdness didn't stop there. It ended with Uncle Howdy leaping off a platform in the general direction of LA Knight, setting off what looked like a mid-budget fireworks finale. Did he hit him? Did it matter? Even the fans in the arena didn't know, because they couldn't see a thing. This was supposed to be the grand return of Bray Wyatt's dark universe, but it ended up being a strange, unsatisfying glow stick spectacle that left fans more confused than captivated. Bray deserved a better final chapter, and LA Knight deserved more too. And let's be real, this wasn't a match, it was a sponsored fever dream with pyro. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the disasters of the WWE, then please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more Aussie Cousins Wrestling content. Like the video so this gets sent out to more and more people, and leave a comment down below to let us know what you thought of this list. And if you want a palate cleanser, click on the video right now on the screen, which will be the 10 best moments of the WWE in 2024. And the most important thing, of course, from us is that we hope you all have a wonderful day.